everyone, it's Lindsay, and today we're doing a book haul. So I have not done a book haul since about June, and I've got quite a bit of books. So since I have so many, I'm going to split them up into middle grade, YA, and adult, and then quickly talk about all of them. Let's just go ahead and jump right in. You know, let's do this thing. Do the thing. First, I bought all of the paperbacks of the School for Good and Evil series. Now, I think the 5th one has just been announced, or the cover has just been revealed, or something like that, but I just wanted the whole collection in paperback, so I might wait until the 5th one comes out in paperback. But this follows a story around two girls in a Hogwarts house type school, where a girl who thought she would be raised to go to the school for princesses and a girl that thought she would be raised to go to the school for witches are actually switched, and they end up in the wrong school. It is a super fun, whimsical, magical story filled with intriguing, complex characters and a lot of magic. Next, I got book 2 in the Land of Stories by Chris Colfer. This one is called The Enchantress Returns. I just love this series because it's got every single fairy tale that you grew up knowing and loving, and they're all kind of given a new twist and put in this book. I wouldn't say it's anything like groundbreaking, but it is very fun and nostalgic to read, so I'm excited to get to the second book. Next, I got this gorgeous copy of A Little Princess, and I have been looking all over for this cover. I just love how beautiful and Victorian and dainty it is, and just the color, it's so wonderful. I love this movie. It was one of my favorite movies growing up, and then after I watched the movie, I picked up the book, and I love that too. But I haven't had my own copy for quite some time, so I got this at Half Price Books, and I am so happy about it. And the last middle grade that I have to show you in this haul is Crispin, The Cross of Lead by Avey. Now, I know I've mentioned before in other videos, but I am the biggest fan of Avey. I love The Man Who Was Poe and The True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle. I love his work, and he does amazing middle grades. And I haven't picked this one up yet, so I'm really glad I did. Okay, moving on to YA. I'm very excited to share these with you. So the first one I got is, finally I got my own copy of The Disappearances. I read this on audiobook from the library, and I absolutely fell in love with this story. It is utterly beautiful, and I had to go get my own copy. So this book takes place in the 1940s in a town where things start to disappear because of an alleged curse. So because of this curse, people can't see, say, their reflection, or see the stars at night, or even smell things such as flowers. So this book follows a main character whose mother is accused of being the reason for the curse, and we kind of follow her as she puts together the mystery. And it is so beautiful, you guys. This book is whimsical, and it's lush. It's like a rose petal dipped in chocolate. And not that you would want to eat that, but just the imagery of it. It's beautiful and magical, and like a soft, subtle, gentle magic. It's so pretty. Please read it because it came out last year and like no one's talking about it, and it's so good. So yeah, I'll probably reread this sometime soon, but I love it. The next book I picked up is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan, and this is a fabulism story about a girl whose mother died, and she believes that she came back reincarnated as a bird, so she follows the bird back to Taiwan where her grandparents live, and just tries to deal with the grief that she's feeling. I was interested in this book when it first came out, but I wasn't sold on buying it until I saw Books and Lala like absolutely hype up this book a couple months ago, and I trust Books and Lala's recommendation when it comes to magical realism and fabulism and things like that, because that's what she loves. She is like super into things that are contemporary with just like a little sprinkling of magic, so I'm all about this. The next book I picked up is kind of crazy for me because I'm not a big poetry fan, but I went ahead and picked up A Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. So I guess this isn't technically poetry. It's written in verse. So, but I mean, like, poetry is verse, right? Like, that's poetry, right? So even though this technically isn't my thing, I went on a weekend trip to Washington, D.C., and there is this bookstore called Busboys and Poets, which specializes in marginalized voices, and they are a bookstore slash breakfast place, and it was just mwah. It was so good. I loved the atmosphere. It's just, you eat amazing breakfast food surrounded by shelves of books. Like, what else could you ask for? So this is about a man who is going to avenge his brother's killer, and it follows, I think, 60 seconds, like this entire story spans 60 seconds, where he's just going down levels in an elevator and he meets different people, and I guess that in the end impacts his decision. So interesting. Gonna check it out. Okay, this is the most exciting book ever, and deep breaths. Okay, deep breaths. Muse of Nightmares. Ah! I feel like I have been waiting my whole life for this moment. It just came in like 2 days ago. Can we just like look at the beauty? Just look at it. For those of you that didn't know, Strange the Dreamer was my all-time favorite book of 2017. It is glorious. It involves an orphaned librarian, a quest for a lost city, and the children of murdered gods. If any of that sounds good to you, read Strange the Dreamer. This is the UK edition because I find the UK editions of these books so much better. This is what it looks like. Like, I'm just so happy. They're so beautiful. Moving on to the last few adult books. Now I know I've talked about this one too because I mentioned it in a couple videos, but I also got this book at Busboys and Poets, and that is Dear Ijuele, or The Feminist Manifesto in 15 Suggestions. This book is basically a letter to the author's friend, and she tells her how to raise a feminist daughter. It's wonderful. It's a super short book. I think it's like 60 something pages. It's really, really potent. It packs a punch, and I recommend it for everyone, whether you have a daughter or not. It's just a great little read. The next book is actually a book that I recommended to someone without reading myself because it just sounded like something this person would like. And then I went to their house and stole it from them. And that is The Wedding Date. If you're wondering, I stole it from my mom, and I'm sure she's watching and she's like, oh, that's where it went. So I haven't gotten to this book yet, but I totally plan to. It follows an interracial couple that meets stuck in an elevator, and the guy needs a date for a wedding because he's going, I think, to his ex-girlfriend's wedding. So he just asks this girl that he gets stuck in an elevator with, and she says yes, and it's a romance novel, so it blooms from there. Now, I'm normally not the person that reaches for romance novels, but I wanted to crack this one open because it does feature an interracial couple, and I don't get to read a lot of books about people that are in relationships like me. So I think that's very exciting and very important to have. So I'm gonna read this and check it out. I've heard that the representation is really good. So I'm excited. My last two adult books are both high fantasy books. I just got on this big high fantasy kick where I just wanted to read adult, gritty, huge, epic fantasy books. And so I bought a bunch of them, and I haven't got to them yet, but I will. And the first one is Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I don't know much about this novel, and I want to keep it that way. I just want to go into it and enjoy it. I know that a lot of people are loving it here on BookTube. It's one of the adult fantasy novels that kind of like cracks into BookTube because, you know, it's mainly YA. So yeah, I want to check it out. I don't know much about it. I'm assuming it's about assassins and blood, and yeah, let's do it. And then the last book I know I've shown in another video, but I did go ahead and pick up, actually heave up, The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This is a behemoth of a novel, okay? Brandon Sanderson himself says that writing one of these is like writing 3 novels in a short story collection and just smashing it between 2 covers. But it's an epic fantasy that follows lots of different people dealing with political stuff and I think the end of the world. So I want to get to this. This was one of the books that I intended to read in 2018. So like, I gotta do it. I got like 2.5 months left. So we'll see. Alrighty everyone, so that's my book haul. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you've read any of these yourself and what you thought of them, which ones you think I should get to first. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!